On March 31st, 1922, the quiet farming community of Kaifeck, Bavaria, was shaken forever. Hinterkaifeck, a modest but sturdy farmhouse, was home to Andreas Gruber, his wife Kazilia, their widowed daughter Victoria, Victoria's two children, Kazilia Jr. and Joseph, and the family's maid, Maria Baumgartner. In the days leading up to the tragedy, strange events began to unfold. Several neighbors recalled that Andreas had complained about finding footprints in the snow leading directly from the woods to his house, yet there were no footprints going back. Keys to the house mysteriously disappeared. An unfamiliar Munich newspaper was found in the home. None of the family had purchased it. At night, noises were heard coming from the attic. Andreas searched, but found no one. On the evening of March 31st, it is believed the killer, or killers, struck. One by one, the victims were lured to the barn. Evidence suggests Andreas went first, possibly hearing something outside. Victoria followed, perhaps worried for her father. Then Kazilia Sr. came to investigate, and finally little Kazilia Jr., who, horrifyingly, may have survived long enough to tear out tufts of her own hair in shock before dying. Each was killed with blows from a mattock, a heavy farming tool. Inside the house, the maid Maria, on her very first day at work, and 2-year-old Joseph were also murdered in their beds. But perhaps the most disturbing detail is what happened next. The killer stayed. For several days after the murders, smoke was seen rising from the farmhouse chimney. The family's livestock were fed, and neighbors later found that meals had been eaten in the kitchen. The killer was living among the dead. 6 days passed before anyone entered the farm. On April 4th, neighbors, concerned by the family's absence from church and school, came to investigate. Inside, they made the gruesome discovery. In the barn, the bodies of Andreas, Victoria, Kazilia Sr., and young Kazilia Jr. stacked neatly under hay. In the main house, Maria and Joseph lay in their rooms, covered with blankets. The weapon, the mattock, wasn't discovered until months later, hidden in the attic. Police questioned over 100 suspects, from disgruntled neighbors to possible vagrants. Theories ranged from personal revenge to opportunistic robbery. Yet, there was no sign of forced entry, and money was left untouched. Over a century later, the murders remain a chilling mystery, a crime scene frozen in time, with its answers buried forever in the silent Bavarian woods. Over the years, several theories have tried to explain what happened on that cold spring night. 1. A family feud turned deadly. Andreas Gruber was not a popular man. Some neighbors disliked his temper and arrogance. One theory suggests a relative or local enemy, nursing a deep grudge, came to settle the score. No valuables were taken, suggesting the killer's motive was revenge, not robbery. 2. The lover's revenge. Whispers in the village claimed that Andreas and Victoria had an incestuous relationship, and that little Joseph was a result. Victoria's husband, Carl Gabriel, was reported killed in World War I, but some believe he may have returned alive, discovered the truth, and slaughtered the family in a rage. There's no proof Carl survived the war, but in Hinterkaifeck, nothing was certain. 3. The drifter or vagrant. Some point to the isolated location. Perhaps a stranger found the farmhouse, hid in the attic for days, and struck when the moment was right. The single trail of footprints in the snow adds weight to this theory. But could a random drifter know how to care for livestock and navigate the property without being noticed? 4. The inside job. Perhaps the most chilling theory. The murderer was someone the family knew and trusted. This would explain the lack of forced entry and the ease with which the killer moved through the home. The missing keys and attic noises might have been this person preparing, already inside, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. In 2007, German Police Academy students reviewed the evidence and claimed they had identified a likely suspect. But out of respect for surviving family members, the name was never released. And so, more than a century later, the Hinterkaifeck murders remain unsolved, a century-old shadow over the Bavarian countryside. Was the killer a stranger in the woods, a vengeful lover, or someone sitting at the family's own dinner table? What's your theory? Leave your thoughts in the comments below.